What's happening? It's your boy Papa Duck. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit the notification so you'll be notified every time I drop a video. I look below, you're gonna see them nice looking sweaters. Yes, man, grab your wife or your significant other, whoever it is that you got love for. Grab them a sweater, shirt, whatever. Everything y'all get off our merchandise store goes back into the channel so that we can help spread this message to the world. Listen, I always get y'all, I always try to get y'all to think, right? So I got a video I want to show y'all, and I just want you to understand the power of perception. When you look at your everyday life, even from your problems, look, these things have been implemented on you. The way you see the world has been projected on you, right? Television, media. Rockefeller bought all of the media outlets back in his day so that he can control the message, the propaganda. Y'all don't understand how powerful this is. All the from fashion to everything you do, they the one told you. They say that eat this and eat that is good, eggs are good, eat 3 times a day. That's bullshit. We do not supposed to eat 3 times a day. This is why America is the most obese country in the world. Same thing with our prison system. We have more prisoners in prison than every other country combined. You have to understand, these people control everything. They control the perception in your mind. They control what you think. They control what you eat. They control how you see things, and they understand branding. A lot of people are caught up on brands just because it's Sony or just because it's made by this brand, that brand. That mean that you can eat it and it's good for you. And y'all don't understand. So I want to run this video by y'all, show y'all this video, and let y'all see the power of television, the power of media, and just how it affects your life all the way down to relationships. Like, look, man, live your life. You don't have to look and try to, uphold this stigma of relationships or this and friendship. No, man, you discover what it is you need to discover, implement it how you want to implement it, not what you've been told. But no further ado, man, check this video out. Like, comment, subscribe. Please share this to whoever it is you want to share this to help wake up your family, your brothers, because I know a lot of y'all have them kind of issues too. Send it to them, man. I'm going to keep on beating it in their head. We're going to try to wake their ass on up. So with no further ado, please, y'all check this video out.
Most people still today think that all entertainment to do with movies, drama, is therefore nothing more than their entertainment. It never ever was that case.
Of course, television can't perform such miracles as this, yet. But perhaps there's no harm wishing that it could.
The greatest social messages are promoted through movies and drama, high drama, through the fixation of emotive sequences, emotional sequences, not logical, factual sequences, but pushing points across in an emotional way which register and fix in the mind. So emotional content is very, very important, rather than going through an actual discussion or an argument using logic and facts. There's no debate. And when you're being downloaded through fiction, your guard is down, the sensor part of your brain is not in action. It isn't saying, yes, I agree with this, I disagree with that, as you would in a debate or a lecture. You're actually in an alpha state, being completely downloaded with new ideas. About 100 years ago, this big organization with many branches, they wanted to rule the world basically using Britain as a nucleus of a system, an embryo, which also was going to be joined with the US under the Anglo-American establishment, wrote about the kind of culture and the changes of culture over a 100-year period that they would actually design, implement, and bring in. And H.G. Wells talked about it too. He talked about arenas. He says arenas could be put up across the world for sports, for instance. Now at that time, sports was something that children, school children were into. Adults became adults and got onto adult things. So it was unimaginable at the time that people could actually believe that there was even a need for adult sports and entertainment, never mind having arenas built across the world. But he said we can do this, and foist basically a sports culture for the males. Using a tribal system, we're all tribal to an extent. That's why we even bother to vote for a tribal leader. This is well understood. That's why we're supplied with these leaders. And because the average man was to become more disengaged from his own destiny, as the expert class arose, it was decided that the males would get their outlet, basically, gradually becoming helpless as males through sports. Therefore, they'd have a tribal team they could identify with. They could cheer them on as they were winning. In their own personal lives, they were getting nowhere. They were getting disenfranchised, in a sense, as experts took over decision-making for them in all kinds of fields. So this was psychology at use, planned before they even implemented the sports. When radio came along, of course, they used that to the maximum. Sports for the men, soaps basically for the women, and then in came television, as I say, with its alpha state, its hypnotic state. And sure enough, around the 1960s, really, 50s and 60s, it took off. It really took off. And men became glued on Saturday nights to the sports shows. A culture industry, which is called by its own the culture industry. The Soviet Union had a department called the culture industry. Their actors and directors were called the cultural leaders, because they would, like a computer, people are like computers, all you have to do is keep giving them new updates every so often, and you can change an entire country or a nation or a block of nations who are all getting the same upgrades at the same time along certain paths. Today we call it political correctness. Most people want to belong to their peer group. They want to be the same as everyone else when it comes to opinions. In fact, they judge their own personal sanity by bouncing ideas off their neighbors and friends who will answer back and agree on these same topics in kind. It doesn't matter if the topics or what you're given are facts or utter nonsense, as long as everyone agrees at the same time. You'll say, well, I'm sane, and your friends will all agree because they've had the same information given to them. If it's on TV and a famous face says something, then it must be true. He doesn't have to show you facts or anything else. You've been brought up with these faces. That's why they keep these guys on television into their 70s and 80s. You've grown up with this father figure who's on television every night at 6 o'clock, in your house, in your room, staring right at you, and he's a father figure. Would he tell you a lie? So you naturally never suspect him. And this same man will lead you through new topics. He'll introduce experts on the topics. They'll have a little summary at the end of every talk, and you are now left with the conclusion that's presented to you. You don't arrive at it, it's given to you, and it's good enough for you. We're programmed today perfectly, just like machines.
This is the best day of my life!
We tie this in with the Brzezinski. Brzezinski said in 2 Ages, now this guy was way up with the NSA. He's a master geopolitician. He admits he works in 20, 50-year periods to do with geopolitics in other countries. But he said himself, the public will shortly be unable to think or reason for themselves. It was meaning by the form of information that was given to them, the type, the formulas that were in use then in the 1970s. He says, eventually they'll be unable to think or reason for themselves. And eventually, he said, they will expect the media to do all their thinking and reasoning for them. Well, that's happened today. That's why people today can't think outside of the programming from television. We're gullible, but we're also willingly gullible. We want a human being, a big daddy, to come along and make everything right for us. And as long as we believe that, we'll always basically get shafted. In Brzezinski's book, Between Two Ages, is that eventually we shall put presidents in who will have personality cults. We shall create massive personality cults for these people through the same techniques as Hollywood has used. Obama is that man today.